And we are recording. Thank you, everyone. Good day, good love, good light, good way. Illuminators, way showers, guardians of Gaia. Thank you for being with me once again. I am Wendy, bringing to you the infinite languages of lights. And today I welcome you all to another impromptu Galactic Gathering in the Light Language Linguist Lounge. And I am here with my best buddy Bree, and we have been, it's just been one of those days and of exciting energy, and she and I have been working on stuff, and I had an amazing session today, and I've got all this bubbling energy, and I just felt like I just sent Bree a message on this 4-4 energy day. Let me start by saying 44, 11, 11, 11, 11. And today, guys, 4-4, 2019, my friends, it equals 11. So once again, welcome to the Master's Chambers. Because if you're here, you're watching this, guess what? You are in the Master's Chambers. And today is once again about realizing our mastership. The number 11, the Syrian Sacred Circuit, brought to you, if you're new to my channel, by Bashar, through Daryl from our friends from the Sirius star system to help us all unlock our ET galactic multidimensional selves. And today's date, 44, and that idea of 11 and that double 44 is all about the vibration of the Master's Chamber. And of course, also being the number 3 year, 2019, is about the triangle, the Trinity, the realizing that that we are a body, a mind, and a spirit, but that our spirit and our body and our mind is not what we thought it was. It's bigger and better and more beautiful and more intricate. And all of these levels have been swirling around today. And one synchronicity led to another. And I was just joking around with Bree, my buddy Bree here, as we were just joking about, once again, the synchronicities. And she sent me at 4:44 p.m. as we were gathering to start this video, this hangout, literally, it was 4:44 p.m. She sends that to me in the message. I have, as many of you may have seen, take lots of screenshot or actual photographs of my PC with a slideshow that runs with all the pictures that are on my PC. And I'm telling you guys, there's got to be thousands, if not tens of thousands. I mean, I literally can't get enough of posting pictures. So anybody knows me on Facebook, you know all the I'm always posting pictures of the vibrating numbers, the repeating numbers, and today was no exception. So this was really funny because I was just talking about Prince yesterday. It reminded me of Purple Rain. Then Bree and I were working on something earlier today for the website, and we changed one of the colors to purple. See, she's remembering now too. And I said, that's it. That one's got to be purple. And it was, as I'm starting to gather to, I said, okay, Bree, are you busy? Do you want to do a hangout together? Let's, on 44 day, do you want to hang out? And as we're preparing, 4:44 shows on the clock, runs across my PC. And I swear to God, you guys, I'll have Bree do a
Let me show it right now. Here it is.
Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. There is me and Bree in purple chairs, you guys. I'm freaking out right now. In purple chairs. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I got to take a picture. Bree had just sent me 4:44 in the private message. And I look at my screen, there's 4:44 and me and Bree in purple chairs. And where are we? At the Pyramid Conference.
The pyramid, yeah. At the Pyramid Conference. So this was right before that guy walked out with one of these big size, do you remember that? One of these big size pyramids, and we're like, are you stealing that? And he's like, no, I bought this.
I bought that. And you know what, you guys, that's where this big pyramid came from. Behind me, the elongated copper pyramid from the Pyramid Conference. So I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my God, Bree, I can't believe. She's like, I can't believe you even had the wherewithal to even take the photograph. So there we are.
That's what surprised me.
And you
Good
guys,
timing.
what's even weirder, you guys, is this is like only months after she and I met. Like it was the light languages that brought us together. She found my channel on Facebook. I mean, on YouTube, Facebook. And here we are a few months later at this Pyramid Conference, and the whole thing, just everything blowing our minds with all of these synchronicities and her and me and light languages and everything else that transpired. And then there we are.
And that was the first place you met. You publicly spoke light language to somebody else other than me the first time in person.
That's true.
And that lady happened to also speak light language.
Also, see, that's the weirdest part, you guys. Is
like out of all of them.
I've told that story. I was sitting there writing symbols, and we were in a speaker was talking. I was writing symbols, galactic symbols, and all of a sudden I hear this message to give it handed to the girl behind me. And I looked at her and I handed it to her, and I had no idea what she was going to think or say. And I didn't even know why I was even guided to send it to her, to give it to her. And the things that transpired afterward. And then she starts speaking light languages. And the next morning she and I are in tears because all this stuff is connecting, and all of these, I started getting receiving all of these visions and messages. And to this day, the three of us are friends. So love you, Star. We're always thinking about you. We're always, yep. And guys, oh my God, her name is Star. I mean, come on.
Her name is Star.
Come on. So it was just magic all the way around. So you look at that photo, 444 on 4/4. It's like, and so all of this, and here's my dog barking. And that's what's really weird too, you guys. So I want to thank, part of one of the things I wanted to talk about today was to thank all of you for your comments, your private sessions. I had an amazing session today. Again, and I'm bowled over by just the things I receive in the mail, in my PO box, and and in my mailbox. And this is another gift from one of my star sisters out there, another wolf card. And I'm telling you guys, there's Ranger out there barking, and it's the connections that I feel when we touch something that each other has touched is like, there's magic in there. Her language, her light language, her love, her thinking of me in here, there isn't anything like that. And when Bree and I found out we lived near each other and then met, and then all this expanded, but it's almost like you think it can't get any more exciting or any better, and then something even more amazing happens, and you meet more people, and you come, it's as if, and I'm even looking across the room, my guide said, hey, look over there. And there, my purple shirt is sitting right there at the end of my bed, my purple shirt. So, and I was talking about Prince and Purple Rain. And so all of these synchronicities. And today I pulled this card off of my mantle up here because I was hearing you, all of you, you're gathering your pack. And the wolf, even when he is the lone wolf, and for anybody that doesn't know me, that's the name I was born with, Wendy Wolf. And so I carry that energy of, if innately the wolf knows what is good for me is good, always going to be good for the pack. That's the way it works. And the wolf stands for following our instincts. Following our instincts and our knowing beyond any shadow of a doubt, no matter what anybody tells you. If it doesn't resonate with you, it's all about your instincts. It's all about discernment. Yet, what we've been talking about a lot is, and I wasn't even going to go this way, but discernment without judgment, and understanding that when you follow your instincts, that's the only discernment you need. You don't need to judge anything about it. And because if it's what you need and what you're passionate about doing, just by you doing that, you are already doing what's good for the pack. That's the whole point of following your own passion. The whole point.
Your compass, yeah.
Exactly. And it's so interesting. So the next coincidences were, I was guided today to do a video because today equals 11 and it's 44 energy. And I wanted to not remind you, but for anybody who's already heard it, for the last more than 25 years, my home phone number, the last 3 digits of my home phone number have been 444. And it was interesting because I had the choice of choosing phone numbers way back then of about 3 or 4 numbers and 444. And then I choose a phone number for my business situation here. We couldn't believe it. First 3 numbers equal 11. The next 3 numbers equal 11. The next 2 numbers equal 11. And the last 2 digits are 33. 11, 11, 11, and 33. I'm like, gee, what do you think, Bree? You think that's the right number? Do you think that's the...
I forgot about that.
She's like...
We're looking.
Like,
I think this one's good.
The 11? Really? And for anybody who doesn't know by now, my birth path number is 11. The master number. So all of these synchronicities, and then the purple chair thing blew me away. I mean, this was seconds before we went live, before we I mean, it was like, and so I'm like, oh, and I'm like, oh, Bree, look, I was guided to, to get my purple pen, and I'm like, oh, she's like, oh my God, I gotta have those purple chairs. I'm like, I forgot. I was like, in that split second, she's like, oh, by the way, she's like, and I have a purple pen here too. So,
yes. Oh my gosh, I wanted to tell you, my students yesterday in my class, my after school class that I'm teaching, like the enrichment program, this girl all of a sudden in the middle class starts howling. Like she was, and I was like, now, if we're going to be howling, I want to howl loud, but we can't do that in this. And she starts to howl even louder. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Not right now. Like, we need to go outside. I was thinking of you and how you're like, if I really want to let myself loose, so it's going to be really loud.
Bree has heard me howl at the moon louder than I've ever howled at the moon before. And that was actually in Arkansas at the retreat, Beyond Belief retreat. And that, you guys, I busted something in my throat because I was like,
did you really? I forgot.
I was like raw. Yeah, I was like really hoarse for a few days after that. Plus all the talking and all the light languages and all the channeling and all the everything that we went through. So howl at the moon, guys. Ow, ow, ow! And you know what's really weird? As a kid, it was kind of funny because, in many traditions, the woman takes the man's name when we get married, and I couldn't wait to get married to get rid of my last name Wolf, because I was tormented as a kid. Everywhere I went in school, every year until I graduated from high school. Seriously, guys, do you think, that's all I ever heard I walked down the hallways. Oh, 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 there's Wolfie. And but now, now it was, and I'm telling you guys, as a kid, it was kind of not pleasant. Seriously, it got old. Like in about 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, by high school, you're like, for real? For real? Do you think I've not heard that? So anyway, but all part of the process, right? But everything's now. So, but again, why would we bring that memory into now is because this is what we're talking about now, is that following our instincts is your compass. And I gotta laugh because the deck of cards too, this is one of my new decks. This is the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck by Lily Moses, and the artwork's by Lily Moses. It's by Kyle Gray, the deck is. And I fell in love with this deck immediately as soon as I got it. And I have to, as soon as you said that, Brie, it reminded me Now, as I mentioned yesterday, the eagle's been in the tree. And last night, Bree and I were having a meeting, and I stepped outside my door and I said, look, Bree, and right up in the tree was the eagle. And I turned the camera so she could see it. Eagle's wings.
Yeah, that baby eagle without the white.
Without the white. And it's a baby, but it was
enormous. A big baby.
I mean, they're enormous, but it hadn't gotten its white yet, its white head and, but it was, and so it's interesting when you said that, the compass, it reminded me of the back of this card.
Yeah. Wasn't Bashar the first one to use that analogy? Like it's the compass within
Quite possibly. Quite possibly.
Maybe he's not.
And what's interesting is
what
that,
is for me. Anyway, I always think of Bashar when I think of that.
And as we were just talking too about last night, about the idea that what we view as a limitation is actually the compass that points us into the direction of where our true gifts and abilities and strengths are. And when and that we've designed these, what we call limitations, as character builders, strength builders, wisdom through experience, all of that. Even that so-called memory of the wolf thing. But yet it's funny because when I was deciding to put myself out into the world with Language is the Lights and everything, I was already on Google as Wendy Wolf. And it was interesting because my guides had said to me, this is the vibration you chose when you came here. Do not deny who you are and the vibration of what you are. You, on a higher level, chose that for a very specific reason. Use that in the world because this is how you came into the world. Use that name because it has a very specific vibration, and even the WW, and people have been calling me WW all my life. But that whole idea is we choose these vibrations, and we need to understand, follow your instincts, that you chose this stuff for a reason. Even though what you call your limitations, you chose it for a reason, to show you the compass needle of where your strength and ability do lie. And so it's very interesting that even Bree and I were talking about just last night, that, we spend so much time focusing our energy on our limitations. We can't even see our strengths and abilities because we're not in the right vibration to even embrace them, understand them. And you know what? I'm not even doing this in the right order, but 4 cards they guided me to pull. Now, Bree and I were also talking about crystals today, and I received an amazing box of crystals from a soul sister a couple of days ago that I'm telling you guys, I can feel the energy just bursting through this box. And look at it, yellow. Yesterday's video was all about yellow and the solar plexus chakra, all about the sun. Yellow box, and look, embrace hope. So then, very interestingly, I'm guided to the same person had just recently sent me this deck. Where's the book? The Crystal Ally Cards, Evolution Edition. First thing I heard today was, you guys are an evolving species. And just like you said earlier today, Bree, you are becoming more crystalline, and you're becoming more conscious of your crystalline structure. Interestingly, one of the books that I read many years ago that was part of my awakening process was the Celestine Prophecy. And one of the things they discussed in that was about how you would begin to see things like the trees, your bodies, becoming more of their crystalline form and glowing in a different way. Your aura is changing, your etheric body's changing, and us being able to communicate more fully and more vibrationally with the elements, literally the elements. the elements in the trees. And you know, you guys, I know you guys must think I'm crazy, but I all of a sudden I look outside and it's like I look at the tree and I see a being looking at me. It's like it, and I can't, it's like I get this, it's like psst, psst, I can't explain it. And she and I were talking about trees and the crystalline consciousness of trees and today. And so I was guided to, for the first time today, use this deck in my private session. And look at this too, you guys, the edges, how cool they are. Look how beautiful the gold is.
Oh, they're shiny.
Isn't it? I know, isn't it? It's so awesome. Really cool. And they're so beautiful. And this whole deck is about, every single card is a different crystal. Every card is a different crystal. And it was very interesting that she and I were talking about crystals today. So the person who sent them to me, I said, just send me what you're guided to send me and leave it at that. And very interesting, as I'm pulling out 2 other decks for a total of 4 cards, one of them is the Sacred Geometry Activation Oracle. And I hadn't even started shuffling yet. And a bunch of cards flipped over. The very first one equals 8. Number 26, it equals 8. Today's date, 44. 8. Empowerment. And it reminded me of the symbol of empowerment that came to me that's on my website.
On your homepage, yeah.
And that you just said, hey, what do you think of me using this empowerment symbol on the website?
The first one, I'm like, let's use this one.
Let's use it. And
we're empowering people with light language, right? So
exactly.
It's fitting.
And this is what this channel, my intention has been all about since day one, is empowering each other. And so very interesting, not a coincidence, I should say, because everything is a synchronicity when you're going with the flow of the universe. And look, you guys, oh my God, I put this on right before we started hanging out. This was a gift from my son. And look.
That looks very similar.
Oh my God. So see what I mean? Wow. So this card flips over. The frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in the deep trust that we are all connected through the same source. And that is exactly what I said in the video yesterday, exactly what they were showing me about the yellow, the one sun, the one light and this has been from day one. We are all one. We are all one fractal, crystalline fractal of the one source. We are empowering each other as we connect and share this stuff. We are finding each other. We are connecting with our grand family, as I'm hearing right now. Our grand family, and a bird just flew right up into the tree right now. So, and it shute, and I could tell today that Bree really needed to speak some light languages. It's like, so because behind the scenes there's a lot going on, and we work really hard and talk really hard and view life really hard and really passionately, and we uncover
life, drag ourselves through life.
And we're understanding the beauty of all the colors of the rainbow,
all of the colors
of life,
or lack of colors.
Well, let's say, well, because the dark and the light both do contain all colors, do they not?
Indeed.
One absorbs them all and one reflects them all.
Yeah, it's been some heavy times recently for, I think, the collective and individuals and myself.
Exactly.
So that's
very.
Okay. We can be as graceful as possible, and we have to give ourselves credit.
And doesn't this symbol, even this realized symbol, when we realize something, isn't that empowering? It's so empowering when we realize something about ourselves. When we realize something new about ourselves or about our own empowerment, that becomes its own catalyst for more empowerment. Lisa, we think that if we go digging into this, what we call our dark side, but what we're realizing is we're not digging and it's not a dark side. We're actually illuminating all of the crystalline fractals that we are. We've got it all wrong. Yeah. Our belief systems have led us to believe that this is supposed to be dark and dirty and ugly work. No.
Yeah, no, shining the flashlight of consciousness.
Why do you think they call it light work, people? Because we're shining the light on the things on the beliefs that aren't ours. And so that we can become this crystalline consciousness. Yeah. All right, here you go. The seer. Seeing beyond the current situation. And what's she holding, guys? A crystal ball. Well. And hasn't it been since ancient times? I was also with Bree at the Pyramid Conference when I bought this. As well as many of the things on my altar. I will add, you guys, many of the things. One of today was, which I was showing today, Bree, is my Pharaoh's pocket from the pyramid.
Oh, I haven't seen that since
from the Golden Pyramid. So, and all the trinkets that are in here. So that idea of that ancient wisdom, the pyramid energy, and that idea of the high priests and the high priestesses and speaking our languages, and the symbols, and how I'm creating symbols in my sleep. It's like,
yeah.
And how that's activating the pyramids all over the continent, all over this continent that we aren't even aware of yet, by the way, guys. In North America, there's pyramids all over the place that we haven't even discovered yet. So there is huge pyramid energy with me today, with all of this 11 energy. And today, again, I was confirming with another person of being in the chambers of the pyramids and the top of the elongated pyramid being raised. Now this person, I had never discussed this with this person ever before. I've never met her before. So wow. That was what was so weird about it. She brought it up. Wow. So very interesting how, again, as we begin to become more crystalline and tap into the entire crystalline consciousness matrix, we begin to understand more and more fully each and every one of us. Look, she doesn't even have, her eyes are covered. She's not using her eyes. And look at her hands. And how many times recently my guides have showed me when we speak light languages, when we sign them, when we create the symbols and the circuits and the scripts, just by creating it, we're actually changing the structure, the crystalline structure, energy of the entire matrix. And we don't even realize it. We're literally manipulating and changing the crystalline structure and creating an entire new crystalline human collective being, body, consciousness. Where we are realizing from a three-dimensional standpoint that we've never been able to do before as a human species, we are able to finally begin to just scratch the surface of understanding that connection between what we're doing now and how we are literally creating this new species of human body. And anybody who, for example, like Bashar's race and these beings that have evolved past the point of being physical, we are learning how they see the structure of reality and how us here doing this work now is literally creating the new vibration in which that crystalline consciousness, that frequency, I'm trying to explain what they're saying to me. So that we are literally creating the blueprint structure for this new frequency of beings. And it's because we're realizing our multidimensionality while we're still having a third dimensional experience. That's never been done. Only the seers, the clairvoyants, the channelers were able to do that. But they are the ones who paved the way for me and us to understand, wait a minute, you're all capable of this.
Yeah.
All of you. Mm-hmm. Not just me, not just Bree, all of us are capable of this. And if you are doing this and you're watching this and you're here now in this existence now, you're part of this. You're part of this process of changing this frequency to create this. And they don't eat anymore. They don't sleep anymore. He said, we see you and we see each other more as a composition of crystals. And Bashar even described one time how he was creating a mile high. And this is how I started with the spiral, Bree, with wanting to connect to the Shikani and the Sassani. They weren't even the Shikani then. They were still the Sassani. They had not evolved even yet to the Shikani, that version of themselves that they are now. And so this has only been in the last 10 years. And he was sharing that he was creating this crystal spiral that was a mile high, and I forget how wide. I actually drew it in my journal. I drew it. And he was creating it through crystals out of his hands. He is a sculptor. Somebody asked him, what do you do for fun? And he said, well, I'm also a sculptor. And he says, right now, what are you working on? He says, right now I'm working on a sculpture that I'm creating out of crystals, and it's a mile high. And they said, well, how are you creating it? He says, I'm creating it out of the crystals, out of my hands. I'm creating it as I'm creating it. And they said, well, is it for an actual purpose, or is it just for art? And he said, well, what's the difference? What's the difference? And then he said, yes, to both. He said, it also functions as an antenna. Boom, my antenna went, what? And
I just remembered I have this sitting here.
And I sent that to Bree. I actually made this out of copper for her, and I twisted it with my hands into a spiral, and I even sent her a coffee cup with spirals, and there's a whole big story backstory behind it. But
this one? Yeah.
Oh, there it is, the coffee cup. See? And because one of the very first things I started drawing way back years ago was spirals, and spirals with sunshine, and spirals with
Stargate.
And then look, what does she give me for my birthday one year? Look at the spirals. Look at the wolf, guys. Look at the phoenix.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I mean, I love this. So it's like, it speaks to me on all the levels. And it even says on here, earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. Right at the
what is her name again?
Artist. Let me give her Lisa Nomikos, and I will give you, I'll give you guys I'll put the link to her stuff. I'm telling you, this is freaking amazing.
She channels all of her stuff is just as beautiful.
It is. And so, I'll give her, I've got her business card on the back. So I'll give you guys the link to this stuff, and, you can order it. I'm telling you, I absolutely love this. So, and there's even another wolf. There's two wolves on here, which is really funny. One here and one down here. And then there's also, I'm deeply connected to dragonflies.
Me too.
Go figure. And so is Bree. And there's dragonflies on here. There's a phoenix up here above the spiral. It's like reading, it's like it's a whole story here. And when I looked at it, and when I saw it, it was like, I saw what she saw. It was like, oh, this is Wendy's story.
Yes. Yes, that's why I was like, yeah, that's
she's happening. Like, oh, I know who that's got to go to.
That has to go. Yeah.
So, all of these things are. It's like it's almost like they're showing me right now. We're literally like this crystalline consciousness that it's like they're showing me all these crystals like just floating around in space. And it's like they're showing me all of you are coming together as this one crystalline consciousness, like birds, like herds, like flocks, like fish. Think about it, you guys. Like packs. What animals don't? In some way, shape, or form. They're always looking out for each other. And they're always doing they're each doing what's best for themselves, but the group, right?
Wow.
And they begin to move as one. And all of us now, I see all these crystals coming together. So when she sent me this, I was just, so.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Your dream that you had shared with me the other day about the geometrical patterns that you were creating with light language, specific geometrical frequencies that have a specific geometrical pattern to them.
Correct.
That you were using to do something with. You were using those specific, and then I thought that you said that a lot of times beings from higher dimensions will see us as geometrical patterns.
That's kind of how many of them do see it, because we're just light anyway. We're not really, we think we're physical, but we're not. For example, like Bashar, like these other species, when they see us, they don't see what we see. We beings, our consciousness created this physical representation and expression of how and what we came to express for this experience, which carries, of course, its own frequency. How everybody looks and shapes, but what they wanted me to really reiterate to everybody is, it literally we literally look like a kaleidoscope. Literally, we're a snowflake, if you will. It's a multidimensional light body that they showed me every single time. They said to me, every single time you speak light languages, we see your kaleidoscope turning, like your whole, like these beautiful, stained glass pieces that we see you change. Your light structure changes, just like the sacred geometry in these. Think of this as every single, that's one of the things I love about this deck is every single one of these is, oh my God, I can't believe it. Look what I just picked up, you guys. The purple card.
Oh, I love that one.
Third eye. Third eye chakra. So
the purple one.
And we were just talking today about the Arcturians and how they have evolved into a species that is no longer physical, yet they send me to my third eye. Literally, they send me a vision. They said to me, this is how we can express ourselves to you, because you as humans have a difficult time relating to something that's just mist. So that's not physical. You want to know, what do you look like and where do you come from and what color are your eyes and what do you do? And they're like, none of that. We're just a haze. We're just a consciousness. But since you guys can't seem to really wrap your minds around that yet, we come to you and we give you a visualization. And they said to me, we are the indigo Arcturians. They're like this, almost this color, this deep blue. It's almost like the combination of these two colors, this deep indigo blue and this purple. And they said, we are the consciousness of the indigo Arcturians. And though we are no longer physical, we can represent ourselves to you in this manner to help you connect with us, because you need a physical representation often to help with your belief systems, to be able to converse with us, so we can come to you. And they showed me they have no hair, very round heads. They're very dark, indigo, purpley blue. They have deep, long purple robes. And this is how they come to me. So, but that's not really what they look like anymore. They don't exist like that anymore. This is my representation of them, so I can give myself permission to meet my Arcturian self. That's why we do this.
Which is why also people see angels appearing differently, because they're matching energy, and they're also appearing as a way that we can.
And isn't it interesting? Look at the cover of the deck and the book. She's got angel wings and
look who it is. I was just going to say.
And a crystal egg and a purple dress.
Wow. I was thinking when you're talking about the non-physical forming energetically into what we would think is a physical form so we can interact with them better. It always makes me think of the mantis, because I've heard that, they're so high dimensional and spiritually evolved that the mantis beings often will appear to people, I've heard, with wings, but they don't actually have wings. It's like or maybe some of them don't have wings, but it's their energy that's extending out so much that it looks as though they have wings. So I always think
and
of that
is
like the mantis.
I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things that I was also guided to share was the fact that, my understanding of how they give me these visualizations to use. And they showed me when you guys are expanding your consciousness and you realize things, you literally change the structure, your own, it's like you literally change, you shift like a kaleidoscope, you turn and your crystalline structure changes. And it's almost like, okay, there's a couple things they're saying to me right now. So it's as if every time it switches, it gives us the opportunity to actually connect with different things than we did a second ago. because we've changed the dial. We've changed the things that just slightly even. Now it allows us to connect with even different things and different things. So it also etherically gives these energies permission. It's like us giving them a signal, a permission slip to say, I'm energetically ready for more of what you have to share with me. And I am energetically ready to accept that I am also sharing with you. That I am also teaching, because they want us to understand. It doesn't matter. The only goal for every consciousness is to remember that it's source. And so any consciousness, and to become more aware of all that we are. And in that, as they're saying to me right now, even they still can learn from us. They expand, and their light changes and grows and changes. And that, see, what they wanted me to really reiterate is to take this up a notch. We talk about our higher selves and all of that, but what they want us to understand is that never change. That never stops. Our higher selves also have oversouls, and they have higher selves, guys. And you're still attached to them too. So this is the whole point, is they are, even though, for example, the Arcturians, even though they have evolved to what we would consider, oh, wow, they're etheric and they have, but what they're trying to show us is this is always a two-way street. Always, always, always. And that their consciousness and their awareness of who they are more because of us too. This is big. We need to understand that, we can't keep giving our power away to all of these, what they call, it's not, they're going to set it up for us and then we're just going to go through the motions. It doesn't work that way. It's in tandem. It's always, anytime any interaction happens, and it doesn't matter whether, and I think even Bree can relate to this with the children in the class. Aren't you always kind of measuring the frequency of the kids and their attention level and what you can share when with which ones and how to best deliver the information?
You have to.
Based upon their frequency of where they are moment by moment. One moment they could be calm, and the next minute their attention just went, and now they're an unruly mess.
Yeah.
So we're no different. We're just a classroom of kids. And 1 minute we're nice and calm. And 1 minute we're nice and calm. We're paying attention. We're listening to the masters. And the next minute, not so much. It reiterates that we're always sending and receiving information, and we've got to understand that there is never a stop to growth. And yet we also have to understand we have to bring it back in and come back to being human again, if you will, come back to and say, okay, by me understanding this changes the molecular structure of who I am. This gives my guides permission to say, etherically, when people say, when we hear you create your own reality, people get really pissed off about that because they're like, well, why would I create something that's a horrible situation? It's your frequency and your belief systems that are creating it, even when you're not aware of it. And this is what it's all about, is becoming aware of how we can literally change our physical structure, our reality, what we call matter, by understanding that we're always growing, we're always receiving, we're always sending. And by realizing this, we begin to create a whole new reality for ourselves, because it's empowering. we begin to understand how empowering this is, this conversation that's always going on, you know. And when we realize we're also in the teacher's shoes, you know, it's interesting because I'm going to lead into this, because the very first crystal, I reached into the box right before we started, and I said to my guides, just choose the one I need to share today from this box of crystals. And the very first one, and you know, I just realized, you guys, I did not even look closely at the card when I pulled it. And what I did was I pulled the card, I pulled the crystal, the card related to the crystal, and then I opened the page to the book and I stuck it all in the book. And the very first card I pulled was compassion. And look, she's got angel wings and it's purple. And the crystal, of which I've never heard of, and I'm so excited because
me neither.
It's called, I'm going to see if I say it right, Eudialyte. 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 And she's boy, it's really hard to tell. She's glowing. Her heart chakra is glowing. She's got this purple, beautiful wrap around her that actually looks like purple violets, which is freaking me out because there's purple violets growing all over my property here. And I just brought it up again in my video yesterday. And then then Bree and I in our purple chairs and the purple pen I pulled today. And now she's in purple. And this is the purple card. And you know what, you guys? I just looked at this crystal ball. It's freaking purple. What the heck?
And she's wearing purple, isn't she?
And she's...
Or is it red?
It's, well, you know what? She's got, well, you know what? The drapes behind her are like a velvety maroon. She's got the blue on her head. And then her dress does look like it's almost like a purplish, plum. Like a plum color. Yeah. And then the crystal is purple. Well, isn't that interesting? And then we pull the third eye, which if you look here, we're being guided again. The wolf instinct. Use your third eyes, guys. She's using her third eye to see.
Do you want me to show your purple symbols that we changed the color of for your video?
Why, sure. Now that since you're mentioning
mentioned it earlier.
So the very first crystal, and I'm going to show this to you guys. It's still in the bag too.
There it is.
Oh, there. See, look at you guys. And I that's why I told Bree. I said, "Yep, that's the one." I said, "It's got to be purple." And oh my God, Bree, I forgot. This transformational transmission is about 11/11, and if you look, you guys, I did it on 10/26/2018. This particular set of symbols, and it equals 11. The date. No wonder you were guided to show it, girl.
Yeah, there's a 77 down here. I just realized. Wow, that's really cool.
That's funny because I was just talking about 77 in my video yesterday. That's very, very interesting.
We had, just for a background, we had to change the color so that the text was visible on top of it for her website for the video. So that's why we were
playing with colors. And she said, "Oh, by the way, I can reverse the colors from black and white." And she says, "Oh, well, I can change the color too." And I'm like, "Oh, you can?" I was like, "Okay." And so she's like, "Send me a color." I said, "Do you by any chance, can you do purple?" And she was like, I'm like, "That's it. That's it. That's it." And then what? How a little while later, it wasn't even an hour later, I come across the picture on my PC with the 444 of me and you in our purple chairs. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
I still can't believe that.
I can't. You guys, I'm not making this crap up. It's like, I literally looked at the screen and I looked at it and I said, "I got to take a picture of this. Oh my God."
We're right about to do a video.
And we're right about to do an impromptu video. And I wanted to.
We haven't done one.
And I wanted
it's been a while. So
a shout out to I want to say happy birthday to anybody whose birthday's today. And it just so happens to be my stepdad's birthday, though he'll probably never see this video, but I just wanted to say hi to him. And he's actually 80 today. So 44 and 8, and he's 80. So I just had to throw that out there. So just wanted to let him know I was sending him my purple, beautiful violet energy. And this stone, Bree, is like the same color as her dress. I don't think you guys are going to be able to see it in this light because it's a really weird light in here. Although this is actually supposed to be a full spectrum light, which is why I like it. I'll try to, maybe I can take a photograph of it and share it, but I can't even believe that it's almost purple. It's like this deep red, so very interesting how that was the first crystal that I pulled out of the box. And the meaning for that card is compassion. The chakra, that's why. The chakra that this is associated with is the heart chakra. That's why her heart is glowing. And the first thing I heard when I pulled the card was, you guys have got to have more compassion for yourselves and what you're doing and this journey that you're on. You've got to start having more compassion and love for yourselves. You cannot have the compassion for and they said to me, they showed me, the more compassion you have for yourself, the more compassion you can have for your fellow man, and the more compassion you have for your fellow man, the more compassion you will have for yourself. And they showed me the figure 8. They showed me, and that's exactly what they showed me was, you magnify, when you create the frequency of compassion, it magnifies compassion and
spirals outward.
It spirals outward. The chakra Anahata, the heart chakra, the affirmation, I allow myself to perceive suffering and act from passion. Eudialyte, I want to make sure I'm saying it right, is a relatively rare mineral prized for its ability to heal the heart and emotional body. While the mineral was discovered in 1819, it is only recently that it has been made commercially available. Like many new minerals on the metaphysical market, its appearance coincides with a growing theme in our evolutionary process. In the case of Eudialyte, it is its ability to stimulate and foster the quality of compassion that is most significant, that it is its most significant contribution to the development of our energy evolution. Wow. Now I know why they guided me to this one today. The development of compassion is a primary part of spiritual growth. Almost every major religion and spiritual philosophy holds the quality of compassion to be critical to spiritual perception because it reveals the ability to rise above the survival consciousness of ego and embody one's spiritual consciousness more fully. And isn't that exactly what we were talking about realizing today? The first stage of developing compassion is empathy. And one of the very first things that we talked about, and even with my website, was the idea of telepathy, that we are beginning to feel each other on different levels. We hear each other now on different levels. We have a level of compassion for each other's experiences that we never had before, because we're realizing I cannot judge another's experience, and I do not judge. As I learn to stop judging my own experience, I stop judging another's experience and understand the perfection in all experiences. That's the master class as well. The ability to feel the suffering of another being is fundamental to opening the heart to experiencing compassion. However, being empathic in and of itself is not compassion. Empathy on its own can lead to feelings of sadness, distress, or upset. These feelings often cause empaths to react from ego to the energies they are perceiving. Empathy, when acted upon by ego, causes one to reject the suffering of others and try to move away from it or remove oneself from it. It leads to isolation and suffering oneself, not compassion. And that reminds me of the lone wolf, that we need our pack. We have come here to perceive separation, only to understand we've never ever been separated from anything, ever. Empathy can be a part of compassion only when it drives one toward action to alleviate the suffering, not just witness or feel it. Taking action is how we empower, oh my God, how we empower ourselves to act from the heart and to manifest love in the world. Action can be as simple as dropping a dime in a begging person's cup or spontaneously offering support to those who are suffering. That's what this is all about. And I really felt, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I felt like today Bree needed to relieve a little bit of her suffering, and that today would give her this something that she needed today. The spur of the moment, just even for me to say, I get it. I get what you're going through, and I can't, maybe I can't fix it, but I can support you by way of compassion. That just accepting another person's experience instead of judging them or ourselves, we lose the need to say why, the how, the beating ourselves up, and we realize we are here to gain wisdom through experience. And when we support each other with compassion, the judgment simply fades away.
Thank you.
In this ancient, oh, I missed a sentence. You're welcome. I didn't want to put you on the spot, so I'm just going to, it can be mindful and meditative, such as the Tibetan Buddhist practice of Tonglen. And I'm not sure if I said that right. In this ancient practice, you take in the suffering of others on the inhalation and transmute the emotion, that emotion in your heart, sending out happiness, love, and success to all beings as you exhale. Oh my God, I love that. This is the opposite of egoic action, which is to take in happiness, love, or light, as they have in quotes, on the inhalation and exhale suffering into the world. Wow.
Which is often what is taught.
Really,
I mean, don't get me wrong, that can be effective, but it sounds like a balance is a little bit
that's better. Pretty incredible. I actually pulled the balance card earlier, by the way.
Funny. I need to bring up the trees here again, because that's one of the things that people are talking about. The trees take on so much. They help us release and transmute. The earth helps us release and transmute so much of the energies that aren't serving us, but we can give back to them and we can connect with them. And instead of just giving a whole bunch of junk, we can give some light.
Oh my God. And that's funny. You just gave me a vision that they just showed me as you remember when I, got distracted with the tree. And it's funny when you said that, because remember, you guys, what we breathe, they breathe, and the opposite, exactly. We can't survive without each other. That cannot happen without trees. Are our life. We cannot exist without plant life, and trees specifically, they create the necessary amount of oxygen we need, yet they can't survive truly without what we breathe either.
Going back to antennas too. They're the antennas.
And they are the antennas of the planet. And think about, the other day I was thinking about think about fire. We use wood for our homes. Think of all the things that trees give us. Yeah. And all they ask is in return is to breathe and to take care of them. That's it. Look at all the things that they give us. There's furniture, our homes, our shelter. No matter whether you're in the forest or you have a home made out of wood, there was a time when this entire building that I'm sitting in right now was made of entirely of wood. Entirely. It's not completely the case anymore, but yet I've preserved all of this around me inside of this room. I'm surrounded by the energy of the trees that from this poplar. And I never lose sight of that. And so it's interesting how much we've been talking about trees today in the last couple of days, and how I've been talking to trees and I've been in nature and all that. And what they just showed me, Bree, when you said that about the breathing, they showed me a vision of when we raise our frequency and we change the geometric structure, the light codes that we emit and we receive in our breath to each other change. The light codes we give our trees when we raise our vibration effing changes the trees, the structure, the crystal and consciousness structure of the trees. Gosh darn it. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's what they're showing me. They're showing me when we do this work, this appreciation, when we gather like this and send and even my videos from day one when I started this channel, I was doing light languages looking at the trees, you guys. My very first video. Scared shitless. Because I didn't know what was happening to me. And so
not easy when you start. What's going on?
It started in the trees. It started with my connection to the trees. And that's okay. Now I'm just totally buzzing and vibrating like crazy right now. So, and the other day when I was taking my walk, I was like, wow, our homes are made of wood, we get heat, we get shelter. We can cook with it. You know what I mean? I mean, think of when all the different smells when a maple tree burns or a hickory tree burns, or think of that, the different smells that pine is one of our essential oils. Think of all the essential oils that our plants and trees have given us that help us connect. So anybody that knows my channel, sometimes you'll see me in my kitchen concocting some essential oil sprays, and I use rose oil spray, and I use the same things to clean my house as to put on my body. It's just, so.
And they're fractals. I mean, we can see the fractals.
Exactly. They're part of me.
The system looks like,
I mean, where do we think those essential oils come from? From plants, from living beings, from trees. Eucalyptus, that's a tree. Pine, that's a tree. Maple syrup, that's from a tree. What do you think you're connecting to when you drink maple syrup? Hello, the light codes of the maple tree. Wake up, people. It's
powerful.
We don't even think about that. Oh wow, I'm receiving light codes from the maple tree, and the maple tree sending me Akashic records and information and all the stuff that's stored in the spirals of the tree. Remember, guys, the spiral in the tree? Layer after layer after layer, how it builds and it builds and it builds, and it carries. Imagine all the stories. Imagine what a tree experiences, and imagine when it breathes back to you. Guess what you guys are getting? Guess what we're getting? When we breathe back and forth with a tree, we're receiving the light codes of all those stories, and we're storing them within us, and we're adding our story and breathing it back to the tree to add to the record. Good God. Oh my God. I'm freaking myself out here.
It goes very deep.
So, but yeah, it's like I know this inside of my heart, but I've never put it into words. Like I've never explained what they're showing me. like how we literally add to the record. And maybe I think I have channeled this from the Tree Collective before in some of my videos, but maybe, I don't know, everything's now. I don't know. So that's exactly when we were, and so every time we change our kaleidoscope, our molecular structure, our Akash changes, we add to that, we breathe, we add it to the tree adds everybody else's records to everybody else that's breathing, and we're all breathing each other's lives. And having compassion for each other's as we breathe each other's lives. And if you don't believe that this is the way it is, this is the way it is. I don't know why or how, but I know that it is. And I know that's what they're trying to show me and explain to me and explain to everybody else right now.
Yeah, one thing with compassion that, has helped me is just the simple statement of, what if, right? Just to open the mind. What if all beings, including all fellow humans, etc., are just simultaneous incarnations of yourself?
Well, and that's the way
helps with some compassion.
It right? Sure does. Well, and as Bashar would say,
you're trying to relate to somebody, and it's like, they're so
we're simply that's what he said. We're simply reflections. You are the version I have conjured of you in order to interact with you. It's as if each of us, yes, we've chosen this body, but on even a different higher level, I am actually creating my version of what I think you actually look like. It's very interesting how I'm actually creating that version of you, but you're also, it's like we're co-creating this version of each other of what we look like so that we can have a particular experience.
And act like, right? That was pretty profound for me when I started to see my own vibration if I took a deep dive, which is fine, we do, right? I mean, we're always going, like, it's not like we're always in one line. Exactly. So that's how it goes. But you know, if your vibration dips down quite a bit, and then you interact with somebody and they're in a totally different space, and they're having all these problems in their life, and they're, you know, maybe not acting very nice to you, and it's like you shift yourself, and then the next time you interact with them, they're in a totally different space too. And we think that that's because of all the stuff that they're doing and they're going through. And yes, in their reality, but in your reality, it's how is that assisting you in
exactly
your path?
Because you're actually the one creating that interaction, that reality, and it's as if we're doing it on so many levels.
Yeah, it's
you know,
it's cheap.
It is. I mean,
this
is why Bree and I end up talking so long and we get along so well, because we can really get deep into these layers. But that's the exciting part of all this, you know. It really is. So I'll read the end of the excerpt here. The final part of compassion is the spiritual recognition of the value. The spiritual recognition of the valid illusion of the suffering. This means that even though you know that the material world and its suffering is an illusion, you still choose to treat it as a very real and valid learning path for the soul. My God, it's just like what we just said, right? Recognizing the suffering of oneself and others, even though it is impermanent and illusory, then acting to alleviate that suffering validates the learning that occurs through that experience. The ego can use the impermanence of the material realm as a reason to dismiss suffering and even to feel superior to those who experience it. Eudialyte assists us in opening the heart to recognize suffering within oneself or in others, to take action to alleviate that suffering, and to know the powerful teaching that compassion holds for us. It also assists one in recognizing where the ego is governing emotional experience and how to transcend the control of egoic consciousness. This is perhaps the most important spiritual work we can do as conscious light workers in our soul's evolution. The message of Eudialyte is calling you to open your heart and act from compassion. There's always someone that you can help, even if you feel that you have nothing left to give. Opening your heart to suffering, allowing yourself to feel it, and then act to alleviate it is important now if you are to rise above those circumstances that are causing it. Perhaps you need to have more compassion for yourself and take some time to nurture yourself and be present with the suffering you are experiencing instead of you're going to hate this, Bree. Instead of denying or ignoring it. Or allowing it to control you. Only when you are fully present with your suffering and have accepted it. Can you effectively act to change it? Oh, now I know why I pulled this stone. And now I know why I called you.
Kao Sirius,
we spent several hours together last night working on stuff. So I guess I was feeling this from her today too. So when she sent me the message today, how'd it go today and how's your day and how's your session? And I was like, you know what? Do you want to do a video? That doesn't mean you're losing yourself to the illusion or being self-indulgent of your problems. It means you're using your spiritual perception to recognize the value illusion of your current pain as a source for learning. Or maybe you need to realize that you can't know what's causing others to act in the way that they do. I was just thinking about people that you were angry about in causing this particular suffering that you've been experiencing. And so that sentence came to me. Or maybe you need to realize that you can't know what's causing others to act in the way that they do. Realizing that they may be acting from suffering can be important in healing and allowing yourself to move beyond past wounds to a happier and more balanced emotional space. You can always take the action of intending happiness for others, even if you don't like them very much. Rising above ego and acting from compassion will bring higher energy to the current situation and will enable you to gain higher perspective and valuable learning. Very, very, very important to your situation right now, and by seeing that the people that are doing things out in the world that we consider causing suffering to others, that's because we feel like we don't have control over, well, I want to make sure they don't make someone else suffer like they made me suffer. So therefore, I'm going to resist, and I cannot possibly see them in a compassionate light, and that they are also going through a lesson, a learning, a soul growth experience. And by me seeing what they're doing, that gives me the soul growth experience. I need to know that's not what I want, but I have to be okay with what they're doing. I have to accept it fully and wholeheartedly, and accept the suffering, what we call suffering, that I'm actually currently experiencing as part of my own soul growth. And what's even more important in this message right now is to be able to see, to be able to have the compassion to see that by someone acting in a manner that's less than what we would consider a higher vibrational act on humanity, if we can see with compassion that the lesson they're learning about themselves, that for them to actually be able to create these acts that we would consider creating the suffering of another human, there's so many levels to this too, because there's people, even in my own life, who are very, very ugly people outwardly to other people. They're extremely judgmental and biased and racist and every word that you can, and yet somehow, some way, I have been able to look at this person with a compassion that I could never do before, even though they are to this day, and I don't want to say cause, because that's not really the right word, but they are what another would perceive as the cause of the suffering of someone else I love. And even though I know that that person is causing the suffering of someone else I love because of how they act and who they are, and yet that person has taught me so much about me and how I can see him, because I can see underneath all of those layers how poorly he was treated, what experiences he had in his life that made him the ugly, horrible, what we would call human being to this day, who does nothing but judge and criticize because that's how he feels about himself. And when I could finally understand, to have compassion, to see, and even the hardest part of all this for me was finding compassion while still watching the suffering it's causing someone else I love. I don't have the answers, but this was something I've learned to experience that. And I have people even in my family who cannot understand how I can look at that person with any love and compassion in my heart at all. They just can't see how I could have that kind of, but now do we see the compassion that Source, God, whatever you want to call it, has for every single thing in creation, in knowing that it's all perfect?
Yeah, because when you zoom out, on higher levels, it gets a lot easier to digest and to accept, and then to have that compassion for and see it for what it is, being a part of a greater picture, a play, events unfolding the way that they need to, without our human understanding needing to be a factor in it.
And the other thing is, we're all on a higher level. We're all having a party together.
Yeah.
All these people that have pissed us off and wronged us and hurt us and violated us and all these things that we call experiences, because everything's now, guys. There's no such thing as a memory. There's no such thing as a past life. Doesn't exist.
Frequency broadcasts.
Exactly. So when we can see that we're partying on a higher level and we're going, oh, dude, you get to play the bad guy tomorrow. You know what I mean? And then now we can start to see the compassion for each other and going, you know what? We're just going through some stuff and you're going through some stuff, and I'm not going to judge your stuff. Because the only thing that matters is my vibration.
Right.
My vibration is all that matters. And again, I will remind myself and all of us of one of the very first sentences I ever heard Bashar ever say: circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. Only your state of being is what creates your material world. Your state of being matters. Literally, matter creates material reality, guys. Vibration. Your state of being creates matter. And what you think and what you believe about what you think and about everything around you creates your state of being.
And can be shifted in every moment,
including
your beliefs, which is not easy for some people to be okay with. You know, we get stuck in, this is who I am, this is my identity.
Well, now I want to ask Bree, and now I am going to put her on the spot.
Because you haven't been.
Because I haven't been. That's why she loves me. And why I love her, because she knows I can, because I still love her. But what I want to know really is, seriously, that doesn't negate or lessen this. Isn't it funny how lesson and lesson does, even though it doesn't negate or lessen or invalidate, that's the word I was looking for. It doesn't invalidate your suffering and what you're experiencing. Yet, I want to ask you, did this even a little bit allow your heart chakra to open a little bit to the point where now maybe those that you feel played a part in this suffering, are you able, and if the answer is no, that's fine. Are you able to see them in a more compassionate light, even if it's just a little, and their part that they played in what you perceived as the suffering?
Absolutely, especially after I learned about the fact that they're letting themselves be manipulated. So, you know, they're manipulating people, but they're being manipulated because they've agreed to that. And then it's just this whole big, you know, and I know it's lessons for myself and everybody involved. And I do very greatly appreciate it.
And I wanted to say what you said too.
When you're going through it.
You made a good point about manipulation, because what I want to explain to everybody right now about manipulation, because manipulation has a really weird vibe to it. Because it implies that something else can control us. No, not the case. The only time something can control you or give, let me back up. Oh, I got Bashar in my head so bad. The only time you can have the experience of being manipulated is because you've lowered your vibration and you're buying into a frequency that isn't your higher car vibration. And when people talk about entities and other beings and attachments and all that shit, guess what? It's because you're lowering your vibration that you're saying, come on in.
Yeah.
Come on in and play in my sandbox, because I've lowered my vibration.
That power, just here you go.
Here you go.
Have my power.
Come on in. But I also want to remind everybody, remember, you're equal. So as soon as you're aware that anything like that's going on, you go, you know what? You got to go now. We're done. Thank you. I love you. Thank you for your service. I appreciate what you have done for me, just like these humans that cause us all this suffering, cause our suffering. I can appreciate what you've done for me, but you know what? You're not invited anymore to this party, and you need to go now. And believe me, that's all it takes, guys.
Right.
There's no woo-woo. It's like, no, you got to go. And it is only your belief systems that you can't do it, that they're not gone, that you're vibrating to. That is the only thing that keeps anything like that around at all.
Yeah. And which it goes back to shining the light of consciousness on the gunk, on the dark corner, you know. As soon as you become aware of it, then you're literally shifting your perspective, and you can see it for what it is, and then you have empowered yourself. And so, yes, certainly I've learned massive, what feels like lifetimes of, because this is karmic cleansing for me beyond my human understanding, and it's very beautiful. And I've got myself in these situations over and over and over and over and over again. So I think I get the picture. I think so. It makes a little bit of sense now.
I think I can discern things now. I just got to laugh too, because sometimes I look at Bree and it's like I'm looking in the mirror. It's like our hair, like if you saw us two together, like you'd realize our hair is like identical. It's like almost the same color. It's the same, just you know,
consistency or texture.
Frequency.
You can't see.
You know, it's even kind of, so sometimes I'll look at her and I'm like, God, it's like looking in the mirror kind of, you know, it's like, I feel that, you know, in the glasses anyway. So. Simosoto shamikila kisa na sepalo kushana teleki ikiasa na sila kisa na sheke taisha tapolokoya makisa na seda kisa malokora pashana teleki asana sete se sanasina ni apadokoria pakoshana teleki yamba koshana telekusamalu prakashana teleki sino somaria chachashana teki asana sapalakiza. So simotoshe, so we've got the compassion, third eye, and the seer. So I was going to pull another crystal card, but I'm not going to do that today because these are very involved cards. And what I'd like to do when I do these crystal cards is I want to read the excerpts from the book. And since they are a little lengthy, rather than doing another one of those today, I think what I'll start doing is I'm going to start, I'll start reading one of the crystal cards as I'm guided to read them. And I'm going to take each crystal that I was given from the box. I'm going to look it up in the book, which is what I did today. So and I'm going to read the meaning from the book. So I'll start with each of the crystals that I've received and all the ones that are in the book. And I'm going to start and I'm going to read each page from each of the ones that I've received. I felt strongly guided to do that. So thank you, my dear soul sister out there, for your divine gift. Because this whole crystalline thing and the crystals, and it's like they wanted me to take this and amp it up. And so I'm very grateful for the reception of this deck of cards. So I want to honor it. And I really want to read to you guys the meanings behind each of these cards, and specifically the crystals that I was given from her as she was guided to give to me, that I just feel like I want to share with you the energy of the ones she chose specifically for me, because I feel like I'm supposed to share that with all of you, if that makes sense. So he, see how the beautiful cycle that created when, you know, I've never met her before. We had an amazing session and just out of just gratitude and love and kindness and generosity, you know, that she gifts me these, you know, this deck of beautiful cards and then sends me this box of crystals. And so today just felt like the day. And then when Bree and I were talking about crystals earlier, and she was talking about the crystalline of the trees, and it just felt like today was the day to bring all of that out. So I was guided.
Reminded me.
Oh my God. Go. No, you go ahead, Bree, because you're going to really freak out when you see this card. So go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to mention, you know, every time I hear about the crystalline structure of what in the physical body ascension and the ascension of the planet, you know, shifting from carbon based to crystalline base again, it always reminds me of Atlantis and Lemuria and the stories or the memories. You know, a lot of people are having memories of, you know, the giants and how life here was so very different when it wasn't a carbon, when it wasn't in such a low dimension and in such a low density, and those giant trees that they found that people thought were mountains, and their trunks like cut off. Have you seen those articles?
No.
What, Wendy?
You mean like huge? Well, you'll have to. Yeah, and it's funny because I've got my Lemurian crystal. That's crazy.
Yeah, they're giant tree stumps. But what people have been finding.
We'll send you guys the link. We'll put the link in the video.
The information. Yeah, I'm gonna show it.
Oh, awesome! Go ahead.
Here right now, because from what I've heard, these are actually giant old tree stumps from back when it was crystalline based, and the trees grew just humongous mountainous sizes. Let's see if I can get something helpful here, because they look like, well, I'm just gonna share the whole screen because
go ahead. I don't
know which one will be
Wow. What?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So like, and so apparently back, when the giants were around, apparently they're still here, but dormant or something.
I didn't even realize that Devil's Tower in Wyoming, oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, because they found certain, here's kind of a good photo. 25 miles across, the treefold ground would reach 10 miles into the sky. Now, this is Snopes. We always gotta love the brainwashing that Snopes gives us. Thanks, Snopes.
Well, I always thought.
I think
thought
that's
Snopes was the one who clarified for us.
I do
that's okay.
not believe anything. Anyway, it's a couple that I think gets paid off by. I don't know. I don't know. But
I don't have any idea. So because on the Pariata Isha. That's very, very interesting, though, because what you just said about that tree and the fact that it goes 10 miles high made me realize when Bashar was talking about when he created that crystalline structure that was a mile high and I forgot how many feet wide and around. That doesn't even come close to a 10-mile high tree. And yet we have to remember, too, that all of the trees on the planet of the Earth are antenna, and these antenna actually send and receive information to other worlds and galaxies and plant systems and pyramid structures on different planets. And so there's a lot more going on with our tree friends that we can even begin to understand. Oh, yeah. And I had to laugh because the last card, I pulled 4 cards for the number 4. So the card number's 34, which is kind of funny, you guys, because 4 and 2019 is 3. So we've got the 3 and the 4. Bree's favorite number is 7. So 34 equals 7. And what's weird, you guys, is this is the passion card, and that's compassion.
And we started this off talking about following your passion.
Following your passion.
The compass inside is
see?
The compass passion. The passion compass.
And even how when we follow our passion, we feel supported and are rooted. We feel supported. Our sacral chakra, we feel secure, supported, abundant, able. We feel fearless. The yellow of the solar plexus, the sun shining within us. And isn't it interesting how it ends up blue? Opening the blue into the throat chakra, and it's even got the white in the center for the white crystalline, the white energy, white magic energy. And there's also a purple circle right inside of here. The purple, when we ignite our passion and follow our passion, and when we're passionate about being passionate and stop judging each other, and when we stop judging our own passions, how many times do we get passionate and excited about doing something and we judge it to the death where we never act upon it? Because I'm not good enough. Everybody else is doing it. Blah, blah, blah. We give ourselves a million reasons why we shouldn't follow our instincts and our passions.
Which is fear.
This is how you open your heart, your throat. When you begin to have compassion for your own passion, that's what I'm going to call this. I just asked my guides. The other day, a few minutes ago. See?
I love that.
Oh my God. I just asked them. I was going to say, Bree, what should we actually call this? Compassion. Passion for your what did I just say?
Compassion for your passion.
Passion for your passion.
Love it.
Passion for your passion. Because when you have compassion for your passion, you feel like you can do anything. You feel supported and loved and guided. And you're like, yeah, you know what? That happened. I did it. They did it. Whatever. I'm doing it. I'm living it. I'm going to show it some compassion and I'm going to get the hell out of it. That's the only way, is to love it and accept it and say, you know what? Great. I did it. That happened. That happened. I did that. But I know that's not what I want anymore. And now I'm going to have compassion for my passion. I'm going to follow my passion and know I'm going to be abundant, supported, secure. And I don't need to give my power away to somebody else to tell me they've got the answer for me and tell me this is how you need to follow my guidelines in order for me to tell you what your instincts are.
Yeah.
You already knew what you needed to do and that you had everything. But when we don't feel loved and supported and sure of ourselves, we give our power away to others that we believe can make that happen for us or give us something we don't already have. When I do a session, I want somebody to walk away feeling so empowered that they can do anything they want to do. I didn't do it. They did it. All I'm doing is helping somebody see their own light, their own passion, and go off and go be and do those wonderful things. That's what we are doing here, is helping each other be compassionate for our passion and then following it, because that is what you need to do in order to fulfill the whole pack thing. In order to do what's best for the pack, you've got to do what instinctively you're guided to do. Even if it gets you into a situation that you're not happy about, because I truly believe that we make these decisions, even though we know it's not right for us, because we're not trusting what we're feeling. We're not trusting that, and we get upset with ourselves and we think, oh, well, maybe I should go do this thing that even though my instincts are telling me not to do, I'm going to go do this thing because I don't trust what's happening inside of my gut right now. And we'll do it anyway. I am right. I've done it myself. I knew if I said this sentence that it was going to change my whole reality, and I literally saw the timeline unfold in front of me. And you know what's weird? I did it anyway. I said it anyway. And you know what? Exactly what I thought, what I knew was going to happen, happened. And it took months for it to unfold, but eventually it happened. And I knew, and I remembered, I was brought back to that moment when I said that sentence. And I remembered thinking, if I tell this person this, it's going to change everything. It's going to change my life. It's going to change their life. And it's going to change what happens to our whole reality. And yet something was telling me, even though you are not going to find this entirely pleasant, you are going to reap some rewards from this experience and believe me, it was not a pleasant experience. And I did it it was like one of those things. I made the decision, even though I knew how it was going to turn out in my gut of guts. I knew it. And yet something said, like, it was almost like they said, you agreed to do this dumb thing.
Yeah. I know that feeling very well. Because we're here to become more of who we really are. And sometimes we have to go through some, swimming through mud and release all that density in order to literally lighten up.
But it made me realize,
lighten up.
It made me realize, listen. And it was funny because I had at that time, I actually had instinct on my license plates. And during that time,
funny.
And it was the weirdest thing, because I thought, why would I follow that instinct?
Mm-hmm.
Why would I follow that instinct that took me on this horrible ride? But the funny thing is, it was because of what happened that led me to the next thing in my life, that led me to here.
Mm-hmm.
I realize now I couldn't have could not have, it wouldn't have happened that way.
Yeah.
I would have never gone to the next place that I went because of what happened. And it's like I was creating it on purpose. Is like, it was if my guides were showing me on a higher level, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be great. It's not going to be pleasant, but understand where it's going to take you is going to be amazing. Go ahead and say what you're going to say. And it was almost like this whole decision of whether to utter these words like happened in slow motion in my mind. It's like this whole thing spun out in front of me, all within probably a couple of seconds. It was like, it was weird. And so, but now I get it. Like, I get it. I could not have gone and done all those other things and experienced what I did to pick up all the tools for my toolbox that I needed to do this work, this now in this, with this moment with you and all of us, you know, so.
Self-forgiveness, going back to compassion, right? Being
exactly.
compassionate for our choices and other people's choices that on a higher level is
be compassion for your choices. I love that. Be compassionate about your choices, even if they turned out to be not what you thought they were, because almost always every human will say the worst experience I ever had turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. The most catalytic change, where the rubber band, the further back you pull it, the more resistance, the further you're going to fly.
Yes.
So when you feel that you're at the pit's end, all I got to tell you guys is that it's pretty freaking awesome on the other side.
Yeah.
Because I've been there, weeping on my knees on the floor going, this is not what I want. You know, this is not. And so
it shows us, though. It shows us what we do want.
And how could I then be compassionate enough to do this if I didn't experience that? And have compassion for that experience and compassion for someone else who has a similar or you know, a similar experience. The frequency of passion reminds us that beneath every intense emotion lies the hidden gem of insight, balance, and calm. It assists us in finding the balance within this intensity, moving us from chaos to the calm of its core, where we can let its long-lasting wisdom fill us up. I'm glad this is recorded, because I have a feeling that a lot of you are going to come back and revisit pieces of this recording, because there was a lot of stuff that came through today. And so I know, Bree, we both got to get going, but I wanted to conclude this with some light languages to kind of solidify this information and really turn that kaleidoscope for all of us to change the frequency of all of us, of how we perceive, like she said, our choices, to have compassion for our passion. And even what brought us passion before, have compassion for yourself if it no longer brings you passion. That's okay. Let it go. That's the other side of this. We often hold on to things that don't bring us passion anymore for belief systems and reasons that have nothing to do with us, because we're so worried about what might happen, or we won't be able to feed ourselves, or we won't have the abundance, that somebody's going to be pissed at us, that we're not, that whatever. We can't.
Even identity, even who we think that we are, you know, we're always changing. In every moment, we're an entirely new, brand new being, a creation. Nothing has ever existed in every moment. It's unique and brand new, and it's so easy for us to lose sight of that sometimes, you know, when we get so wrapped up in the 3D, and that's okay, it's the experience. But I've really had to be extra compassionate and seeing that, okay, well, yes, that was a decision of mine, or that was a belief system of mine before, and I learned from it, and I don't feel that way anymore, and that's okay. And being graceful with the changes and loving the evolution is freaking amazing.
Evolution. And
what we're doing is amazing.
It is. You know, you guys, we really are evolving, and we are evolving an entire species of beings. This is not light stuff. This is cosmically, this is bigger than it gets. I mean, this has never been done before. Not like this. Not like this. Not a planet and a species at the same time. No. This is very special. And just like Bree just said, you know, and I share this all the time. We are new every moment. We only carry with us what we still think we need for our growth and expansion. But when you decide in that moment that you no longer need that experience in order to, you're done. You're done. There is no, well, I'm going to try and it's going to take a while. It's going to take me a little while to get, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Unless you want it to or believe it. But no, it doesn't. Once you make the decision, that's not the beginning of the process. It's over. It's done. The process is done. It's how you choose to experience the process. So yeah, we could go on and on. Bree and I we could do a hangout for 8 hours.
We have 9 hours actually.
So I'm going to ask Bree to leave us with see here. My whole point was so she and I could talk light languages, and we've barely even done that. But you know what? Hey, this was important stuff. So I'd like you to leave us with a blessing, and then I'm going to leave us with a blessing, and then we're going to leave all of you with all of these blessings.
So many blessings. Kaora hote shanane te sokoto to hishi senyana nai si hoto hoa yana hate sikia sisi yoshoroto no hoe sihini sihi kyoto hoa arato so hoa haniati sihi yishihu soho no ho huishi ya yoso ara anta so koshe sieni hiti sao sahanta yas also aur onta is iki aniati si siasa ya shoro onto se ya sa hai se koto shokoro no to yesiki ya sho no ta he ya ta so no to isi in ya ta also on is out o at and I and aus o I yes o I inki and o and at is at is oro und o we an at is o yasin is so no so near is so shikesi at high he te shahara high yanato huata hanano to hani yanahani ayata toto ahini ara toto eshikiara auto aisi tao shoko yana io so hua io hu hia yana nani also wu shi wa yana io hua se ni te sho hua hi yasa haoseki yasahi nyashasi.
I saw a lot of stuff.
Like what?
It was as if you were showing me, you were taking me to all these places. It literally, like you were showing us, you were taking us to all these places that you've been, and where it's like I'm hearing, these are the places where I have worked with others, other species, other planets, other evolving species, in which together we have worked through these I'm hearing different words, but I'm not sure if it's the correct translation. Issues, trials. And they were showing, you were literally showing me all these different places that where you are learning and also teaching. There's where you've helped them evolve, and they know that you're working here also, helping this evolution Mose toshokia mi numa mi kusoto shebi kiyasatase, and like you're working together, como soto shebi hira, y sono so. It's like I'm seeing you going to this place and Nikosa Nasete, and you're saying, I'm working on another project, another evolution project. And I was wondering if you could give me like a couple pointers that I could take back with me. And it was interesting because as you were speaking, I was hearing myself asking you the question, so Bree, are you taking on any light language activation clients? I don't know where that came from. And anybody who knows me, and if you're new to my channel, I'm a Galactic Ambassador. And I know that she and I work on all these different levels. And for anybody who's not sure, she's also kind of my technical advisor and my assistant and my web developer. And I mean, my website developer. And but a teacher, a teacher. And I always saw her as a teacher even before she started actually teaching these kids, which I think is kind of funny. She and I have both evolved say from even the, you know, what we call our beginning. You know, but through it all though, we're discerning what brings us passion and what doesn't. And accepting that what doesn't anymore, and what does now does, and
that's okay
to act upon that.
Yeah.
And to take it without expectation. So from that aspect, I feel as if together, as Galactic Ambassadors, Rocky, you know, each of us are pushing each other out of our comfort zones to expand and be more of what we came to be. And I have to say that Bree, in a lot of ways, has pushed me, you know, to put myself out there in ways that I hadn't before, and be more trusting and confident with the information that I'm receiving. And the more and more sessions that I have, and that the confirmation and the validations that I receive in response is really beyond my comprehension. It really has been quite so it has been more of an experience that I could ever even explain to you guys. So and so I wanted to you know, thank Bree for helping me do that, and helping me develop this and put myself out there in a new way, and to do it, to help me doing it so beautifully and colorfully, and so
just like you,
instinctively. Just like me. That would be true. And so instinctively, it's as if instinctively you just knew what I wanted, and what and even as that evolves, you know, it's like we instinctively know. It's like I'll say to something to her, and she'll say, yeah, I was already thinking that, or I already thought about doing it. I already knew you were going to do that, or you know what I mean? So it's just, and it goes both ways. You know, she'll say, oh, have you ever thought about something? It's like, yes, I've been wanting to do that for a long time. And, you know, so, and implementing all this stuff, and the time you know, of doing it between her schedule and my schedule and trying to find time together. And so we rarely get together to do this kind of stuff anymore. We haven't been able to for a really long time. So I'm glad that we got this time together. I'm glad that we did this another impromptu galactic gathering in my light language linguist lounge. So to all of you guys, you potential light language linguists, galactic ambassadors and guardians of Gaia, we are one big family of teachers. At our heart's core, we are of the soul family of teachers. And I really believe within every fiber of me that every single one of you that watches any part of this, that is guided to any of this, you are teachers of the teachers too. This is why you came in this now. And I will repeat it 1 billion times until you get it. Till you feel it, till you embrace it, till you are compassionate about your passion. And every single time you guys interact with me, comment, share the videos. And I want to say, Bree will attest to this. I suck at sharing my stuff on social media. I'm terrible about it. I just don't do it. I think
you're better at it than you think you are.
Well, but
you give yourself some credit.
So any of you all that are out there on social media that are so guided to share any of this information and I want you to understand that is such a huge energy exchange. You can't even imagine, because I don't have time to be and share and be in all these places. I just don't. And I don't have the time and the energy, and honest to God, not my highest excitement. So to all of you who view these and share these and comment and donate and send me things and even entering the synchronicity contest. I'm so excited. I've got all these people now entering the synchronicity contest. And so it's so exciting to be able to just share this in all these different ways and all these different modalities. And so that's what Bree and I have been doing together and working on, and what I've been working on is how can we share this message in all these different ways, and how can she help me share them in audio, video, in all these different ways that we're able to, and experiment and explore and even by having these contests, if you guys are able to have a session and really ask these questions that you've been wanting to know, and what are you experiencing? Are you having ET dreams, or what's happening? Or are you speaking languages? Do you want to speak languages? Do you just need to bounce this stuff off of somebody? All of these things I'm guided to do, and bringing all these messages through the oracle, through the crystals, whatever I'm guided to at any given moment. And honestly, there's so many more things that I want to do. We've still got stuff on the thing that I'm just exploding, So there's just so much information that we want to share and do. And so I just wanted to thank all of you and Bree and for helping me empower myself and have more compassion about my passion, because every single time that you share it or comment or book a session, it completes my own circuits of remembering when I have self-doubt, why I'm so passionate about doing this. When I feel I'm not, I'm not good enough, I'm not enough, why, each and every one of us have a very specific vibrational role, job, teacher. How many teachers are out there in the entire world? There still aren't enough teachers for all the students. How many teachers are there to the ratio of students? But yet, it's always teaching and receiving, learning at the same time. Always, 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 always. So I think that's really more than what we wanted to share today. And it really is in my highest joy and excitement to share my passion with all of you. That is my only intention, to open my heart to you, that you open your heart to you. And I love you, I love you, I love you. I
love you.
Love you guys. Talk to you soon.
Toodaloo.
Peace out.